actually lunchtime here, but you're very welcome. I used to, but it got a little offensive, so now I talk like this. Mhm. Anything in particular? Uh, that old chestnut. In a nutshell, nobody knows. But I'm guessing you want a slightly more substantial answer than this. Essentially, what you've asked me is, are clauses in contracts that surrender an individual's right to bring a class action, are they enforceable? Okay, well, the courts at both federal and state level have been quite muddled on this issue. I'll give you a brief overview on where the law currently stands. And to do this, I must tell you about 3 separate cases. First being the case of Stolt versus Nielsen, a 2010 case from the Supreme Court. It stated that these waivers cannot be imposed on parties whose arbitration agreements are silent on the issue. Essentially, you can't compel an individual to submit to class action if they haven't explicitly agreed to do so. The next case that was brought before the Supreme Court one year later, in 2011, the case of AT&T versus Concepcion, somewhat championed the idea of class action waivers. Put simply, the ratio of the judgment was that class action waivers should not just be routinely labelled unenforceable, as this acts as an obstacle to the wishes and objectives of Congress when they passed the Federal Arbitration Act, which does promote the use of arbitration in dispute resolution. So we have one case for the use of them and one case against in the Supreme Court. And then we had a third case which muddies the water further still. Re Amex was a case brought this year before the US Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. The judgment that derived from this case was that class action waivers can't be valid as they make an individual's legal claims in antitrust law too expensive if they have to fight alone. What the court was saying is that an individual should not be made to surrender their rights to class action, as fighting a case individually may be too expensive. So following these contradictory rulings, the stage is now very much set for the Supreme Court to review the law surrounding this issue, and under what circumstances class action waivers may be enforceable or not. So in sum, I hope that I have sufficiently confused you. Anytime. I'll see you on the first tee this weekend. I always do.